Hey, welcome back to the shop. Got another tool comparison video here for you today. It's another angle grinder video. We've got Milwaukee, fresh out of the box, made in China, red and black, great quality professional grade tool brand. Then we got Hercules, well used. Well, it's not been used for too terribly long, but it's still well used. And it is blue and white, made in China from Harbor Freight. So I had a little bit of money that was burning a hole in my pocket, and I've been wanting to pick up a good name brand, high quality, professional grade angle grinder to compare all these Harbor Freight angle grinders to that I've been using that I think are fantastic angle grinders. I've been using them for a couple of years now in my shop pretty much extensively, and so I wanted to pick up a good name brand one just to do a quick comparison. So of the Harbor Freight angle grinders, the best one to compare it to is going to be the Hercules. This is a 4.5 inch angle grinder with a 7 amp motor in it, as well as the Milwaukee out of shot here. So they are apples to apples here. I've been using this Hercules grinder for quite a while now. For those that don't know, Hercules is the name brand of the power tools anyway that Harbor Freight has come out with to try to compete with the more name brand professional grade tools. And in my experience so far, they've been doing great. Now, I don't own any of the cordless tools, but I do have a few of the corded tools in this Hercules brand. And as far as I can tell, they are very good tools, and I am totally satisfied with them. Some of you guys will probably know or remember, at least my subscribers, that I compared a Milwaukee cutoff saw or chop saw to a Hercules chop saw recently. Guess which one I ended up selling? Well, it was the Milwaukee. I liked the Hercules a little bit better, and it was really close. I mean, they both had things I didn't like, and they both had things I did like. What it came down to is I like the handle on the Hercules better, and the angle adjustment on the fence a little bit better. So one thing I think should probably be made clear just before we get into the nitty-gritty of it is that I am a DIYer. I do not do any kind of professional work. So with that comes a guy like me wanting to try to get the best tools for the least amount of money that I can, which means this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I bought this angle grinder, I don't know, a couple years ago now with my own money. I think at the time it was between 40 and 50 bucks. I don't remember what it was. I think it's a $45 angle grinder right now, and I paid for this Milwaukee with my own money. Like I said, I had money burning a hole in my pocket. I decided to go ahead and buy a Milwaukee angle grinder. So here at the end we have some rubber tails out of both angle grinders to help support the cable. That is definitely a stiffer one coming out of the Milwaukee. I really couldn't say whether or not that's good or bad. Obviously the Hercules is going to be a little bit more flexible than the Milwaukee because the Milwaukee is stiffer. I don't think either one has an advantage thus far. So we do have some split tones here in the bodies, and the bottom sides are both black with a little bit of nice blue here on the Hercules. They both have some vents here in the bottom, which I think is probably necessary and on any grinder. So moving up to the colored or color specific part of the tool, we have nice red with white Milwaukee branding and a nice blue with white Hercules branding. Both basically in the same spot. I would not say that any plastic body feels better quality than the other one. They both seem pretty equal in that regard. And so now we can get to the first real major difference, and that is having a side switch here on the Hercules. You can push it forward and then lock it in, and then just push it to lock back. And it's here on the side, as you can see. Here on the Milwaukee, it's oriented up here towards the top. You can lock it in as well to keep the grinder going without having to hold that switch on, and you pop it off the same. I was playing with these switches a little bit before the video, and I almost want to say that the Hercules feels like a little bit better of a switch. I don't know. It could be just that there's a little more force that it takes, so it feels maybe a little bit tougher, a little bit higher quality. I don't really know. I think there's probably nothing wrong with either of those switches there. I do think that there might be a little bit more grip here to get or grab onto with your finger than on the Milwaukee. This is a little bit more of a shallow rise here so you can get your finger under it. Then on the Milwaukee, it's a little bit deeper. They both have a little bit of texturing here to help get a grip on that trigger to push it forward, but I do think that overall they're probably pretty equal there. Now, Maybe you have a preference. Maybe you prefer them on the side, or maybe you prefer them on the top. So now we're to the heads of the grinders. I don't know why in these 4.5-inch grinders this is just not a thing, but no manufacturer, as far as I can tell, generally speaking, on these little 4.5-inch angle grinders, 7-amp angle grinders, do they put a place where you can just bring the handle straight out of the back. The Milwaukee cordless angle grinder I know does. I don't know why they couldn't have put it on this one. I like having that feature. Sometimes it's the best place for that handle, is coming straight out of the back. They both are left and right-handed, so you can put those in either position on either angle grinder. If we were going to talk about the handles here, I would almost want to say that the Hercules is a little bit more premium because it's got like a nice rubberized grip. Of course, I like my rubberized grips, where Milwaukee's is just a smooth piece of plastic. But I have to think that these rubberized grips are going to be quicker to wear off than anything on the Milwaukee handles. So I think it's kind of give and take. You have a little bit more grip, maybe a little bit softer grip. Oh, it's not that much softer. But anyway, nice rubberized handle there. But maybe it's going to wear out over 20 years. Anyway, back to the heads. So we both have a lockout switch here, so that you can stop the wheel in order to change the wheels out on these grinders if you need to. Both of those wheel locks are plastic. I don't know what they are when they go into the gear, but I have to at least hope, I suppose, that they're both metal. Or maybe it's better that they're plastic. I don't know. Again, I'm not an engineer, but just from the outside, they're pretty equivalent. All right, now to the business end of these things. I have both angle grinders equipped with brand new Hercules blades. They both have these threaded locking nuts to lock your wheel into the angle grinder. The Milwaukee's, I do not think are a standard size. I think they made them proprietary because I've got the old Milwaukee wrench here, and obviously they fit perfectly in the Milwaukee, but it is too wide for the Hercules. All right, so let's talk about the guards. If you know me, I have a Bosch angle grinder that is a name brand angle grinder that I absolutely hate because of the guard. The guard is so terrible on that thing. So we have a little rubberized grip here. It's not really much of a grip. In fact, it's falling off. Oh no. So there's a switch here, or it's more like a lever, that loosens this thing up, and guess what? You have, well, supposed to be, yeah, come on now. Supposed to be 360 degrees. Well, it's almost 360 degrees. Anyway, infinite adjustability here with this thing. Of course, it's a little bit more cumbersome than the Milwaukee mechanism. I'll show you here in just a second. So here's the Milwaukee. I don't know that it's any better. I think they both have their advantages and disadvantages. There is a detent here that pops in to each of the settings. So you have to choose one of the settings that Milwaukee gives you. Otherwise, you do not have infinite adjustability. So you have to choose one of what? 6 different holes? 5 different holes? So it's kind of a fast design. I like how it's pretty quick to adjust. And it does give you pretty good positions all the way around, pretty much everything you're ever going to need. I kind of like the Milwaukee Guard a little bit better. I think it's a little bit better of a, maybe just a little bit less cumbersome, a little bit faster of a position switching than with the Hercules. But the Hercules has a little bit of its own advantage too. So either way, both good guard systems. The Hercules is pretty standard all the way across these Harbor Freight angle grinders, and they all work. I don't really have a problem with them. I will say this though, sometimes when you have gloved hands, they are a little bit more difficult to use. Big thick welding gloves makes the Hercules a little bit tougher to use, but I could also see that maybe being the same potential problem with the Milwaukee. All right, so we're using a little piece of metal here. Probably not the best piece of metal or anything for this little test, but I'm paying the bills around here, and if you haven't looked lately, metal's extremely expensive, and I don't have a lot of scraps or a lot of money, so we're just using what I have and what makes the most sense to get rid of at the moment. Hopefully that's not too far away from the jaws. Okay, we're going to start off with the Milwaukee. Well, that was the first cut with the old Milwaukee, and now the first cut with the old Hercules. We'll go ahead and do a second cut here. Okay, let's try and listen to some gear noise here. Pretty quiet, pretty quick startup. I don't know, it's really not that much different than the Milwaukee. I can't really make any discernible difference. They're both about as noisy as the other, really. I do feel like the Milwaukee starts up just a little bit faster, just a tad faster. Which angle grinder should you buy? Which one's better? Which one is better for you? First off, as far as I can tell, each of these angle grinders almost equal in pretty much every way. You know what? Maybe the Milwaukee has one thing a little bit over the Hercules. Maybe the Hercules has one thing a little bit over the Milwaukee. But as far as I can tell, the build quality, the parts that go into these angle grinders, they're pretty much equivalent. They are both great angle grinders, and I think that they're both probably could be considered professional angle grinders. The Hercules comes with a whopping 90-day warranty. 90 days, 5 years, for a whopping $45. So let's say that this is a $20 extra angle grinder. If you need that 5-year warranty, if you're going to use this Milwaukee angle grinder day to day, every day, multiple hours a day on some kind of welding job or some other trade job where you're going to need to use an angle grinder regularly, that 5-year warranty might be worth paying extra for, because like I said, as far as I can tell, the build quality and the performance of both of these tools is pretty well equal. So I think that's really what it comes down to. They're both great angle grinders. I think they both could be considered professional grade. It just is, do you need a 5-year warranty or do you need to save 20 bucks? Because there's a good chance that if a DIYer is picking this up, or maybe like a farm ranch kind of level guy that's not going to use it every single day, but maybe a few times a year, maybe a few times a month, I'm probably more in that few times a month range, then you know what? But also my budgets are tight. So that $20 off is pretty attractive compared to the Milwaukee. That is why I have a whole lot of Harbor Freight angle grinders right now. That being said, having a good quality name brand professional grade angle grinder in your shop or truck or whatever it is with a 5-year warranty is hard to beat. Let's just put it really plainly. Do you need a 5-year warranty or do you need to save 20 bucks? That's what it's going to come down to. Both of them are great tools. I think it's just up for you to decide. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go ahead and give me that big thumbs up down there. If you're not a subscriber already, go down and click subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.